right?
All right. So, I'm going to turn that off so I don't get interrupted by multiple dings. We are all ready to start. Everybody's got everything. We just went through this.
And I could still use a hug. Sweet Jesus, someone's doing it.
Yes. All right. And that awkward little moment will probably define the entire game to come.
Awesome.
Is this a dice roll or is this to get around your back luck? Yeah. I literally only had kids for that reason. I had 3 too, just in case I need to get rid of 2, and now I get to pick. Once they hit 3, they undergo their testing.
You have to roll a d20 5 times. If you don't average at least...
at least 12 or above.
If you don't roll at least better than Dad.
Yeah.
All right, that's a low bar. So, the world that we live in today is one where technology, commerce, and exploration have largely settled the world. It's kind of a boring and tame world. Walking and hiking are things that we do for leisure. There's few places in the world that are really undiscovered, much less untouched. And the internet allows us to see places that we otherwise would never imagine getting to. You don't need to be a millionaire to travel the world effectively anymore. And creatures of myth have, at least seemingly, all but passed from the world. I would like to tell you of already a different time when heroes still walked the land, when beasts of myth and legend swam the seas, crawled upon the land and terrorized the skies, when giants, dragons, and gods still ruled the 9 worlds, when the earth was a less tame place. Many such tales exist, I suppose, but for now, let us content ourselves with just one small corner of the world tapestry. Over 1,000 years ago, after Tyr gave his hand to bind the mighty Fenris in order that the world might not yet perish, in the lands far to the north, there was a land of great beauty, where earth, sea, and sky all met together. Where men had come to settle in a land of fierce wonder, strange weather, and deep mystery. They came to call the land Sjøfjelltre, for one could scarce find a place that was not dominated by sea, mountain, or forest, and the land provided for those who were brave enough to make their home there. But it also gave them cause to fear it, and a cloak of deep mystery hung heavy about all the land, over the mountains and deep valleys, the dark forests, and the rivers, lakes, and fjords that crossed the land. The humans who'd come to call Sjøfjelltre home knew only so much about the land they called home. They knew that the Aesir had formed the world from Ymir's bones, blood, and skull. They knew that the gods, Odin, Thor, Freya, Tyr, Heimdallr, Bragi, Frigg, and others controlled the weather, the crops, and watched over them, as well as warring against the Jotuns, or giants, and contending with the schemes and ploys of Loki, the god of trickery, and his dangerous children. They knew that deep in the forests, elves, those who had left Elfheim, dwelt and practiced their magic, and that those mortals who had dealings with the elves were seldom the same again, for elves could ensorcel the minds of mortals, compelling them or driving them mad. Rarely the union of an elf and human would result in a child, and such a creature was deemed forban, or cursed. They knew that deep in the earth one could encounter dwarves, the greatest of smiths and doughty warriors, but greedy and untrustworthy. Moreover, to seek dwarves in the earth, one could risk getting lost and getting pulled to Svartalfheim, home to the dwarves and dark elves. They knew that the gods had provided the small people, called halflings as slaves, strong of heart and crafty of mind, with keen eyes and skilled fingers, to be servants to them in nearly all things. However, many of these beings still dwelt wild in the land where they could be dangerous. They knew that the other small people, gnomes, could be encountered almost anywhere in the land, and that such creatures were strange, wondrous, and wary. Oft times would someone encounter a gnome and be confronted with a contraption beyond the ken of mankind, or travel through the woods and find one conversing with rabbit, badger, squirrel, and bird. They knew that giants wandered the land, seeking to exploit mankind and all of Midgard in their contests with the gods. And they knew that dragons crept and slept, both on the land and beneath it. In hindsight, perhaps they did not know as much as they thought. Our tale begins upon Midgard in the land of Sjøfjelltre, where many men and women vied for the title of High King. Indeed, the land was divided many times by kings and earls, chieftains and warlords. In one such land on the shores of Grensfjord, in the town of Smabielv, a large crowd had gathered inside and outside of a tavern called Celebration, while just offshore, a modest ship was burning. This is where you come in. We'll actually, just for purposes, I was going to say we'll go around and introduce characters, but we won't do that. You, sir, you are... Just give us, like, who you are, so that everybody knows. Don't give me the full thing. Like, give us a name, and you already know what's going on. Mm-hmm. So just tell us, like, literally who you are and, like, what you're doing in this gathering on the shore.
My name is Ulfar Blackmane, son of Knud, and we are at my father's funeral, who recently died.
Everything already.
Yeah. Crying kids in the background.
Right.
The death
Makes
of their
sense.
grandfather.
It is a funeral. Makes total sense.
I'm here to celebrate the not so long life of my father.
All right. And you have been, you have met with an individual earlier today who has probably already said a few words about your father, a traveling bard who has wandered into Smabielv looking to wander into Smabielv and learn new things and sing songs and tell tales, and he's said a few words regarding your father. You've given him a few things, and he's sort of put them into some prose and spoken them as part of sort of a send off, or what we might think of as a toast. And you want to just introduce yourself briefly?
So I am Brego Trade, bard, and I kind of pretty typical, sing for my supper kind of guy, travel around, and yeah, so I was hired to kind of help entertain at the funeral and sing some classic kind of funeral songs and just try to keep things not too somber. It is a celebration.
It's a good Viking funeral.
It is a celebration. That's right.
Now you know, Ulfgar, you know that your father, having not died in combat, you know, there's no expectation of Valkyries coming to take him off to Odin's halls or anything like that. But you do have a hope that him being a good man and valorous to the best of his abilities, that he is he's not in the bad parts of the afterlife
He
anyway.
provided many ships for many raids.
Yes,
So,
yes.
in his way, he did his part.
There you go. So yes, there's a big fire raging in the boat. Flagons are being passed around. You recently found something in the possession of your father that belonged to another ancestor. Tell us what you found.
I found my grandfather's sword. My grandfather is, for all intents purposes, a bit of a folk hero in the local area who mysteriously disappeared when I was a young child. I was unaware that my father had any possessions from my grandfather, as I was always told he died adventuring with his fellow adventurers. However, now that I've gone through my father's possessions, I see that that's not the case.
Okay. Now, what have you heard? Sorry, I was looking at something else for a moment, but you may have already said this. But what have you heard regarding your grandfather, other than that he has died? You've heard some stories. What was the nature of those stories?
That my grandfather was like a lauded hero. He was, like I said, a famous adventurer, and that he died in the way that every Viking should.
Right.
Combat with monsters and
Okay.
different types of beasts.
Okay.
And that I grew up on tales of his many adventures that my father couldn't do himself.
Okay. And you think, you as you stare out watching at this ship burning, you find yourself thinking about the sword and the possessions that, other little things you may have found of your grandfather, and you think about these stories, and your mind wanders to this bard, this Brego fellow that you slipped a few coins to earlier to say a few words, and you get to thinking that here's somebody who travels around a lot. He's no doubt seen some rune stones celebrating the dead. He's no doubt heard many stories of heroes, both victorious and dead. And you think that there's a pretty good chance that maybe he could shed some light on the doings and the life of your grandfather.
Yeah. Yeah, I would obviously go talk to you, Brego, and ask you what you've heard of the legends of my family's doings.
Yeah,
You've heard some different things. You've heard some things like, he at times was a raider, but not necessarily of distant lands. You've heard things like he's at times waged war against his own, been a brigand and a thief and a cut purse, and not necessarily always a heroic type of individual. And maybe a little reticent to share some of this directly, but I mean,
maybe, yeah, I've heard of him, and I have heard he was a warrior. He did fight for an adventure to get by.
I'd also like to say too that it seems strange that my father would have this weapon, especially if my grandfather died adventuring. You'd think that his sword would have been carried with him. Perhaps he had many swords or weapons, because clearly this is a nice one, but it does seem a bit strange that my father would have held on to this and not said anything. I'm a bit confused about it.
yeah. You also have heard that you've heard more recent stories as the two of you talk for a moment, and he says, as Ulfar is telling you, like, my grandfather died when I was young. You would have been just a couple of years old, I think we discussed.
Yeah, just a small child.
Yeah. You've heard stories about this guy. that are much more recent than that. You're not sure, maybe not in the last like 6 months or anything like that, but you're not sure you've ever heard anything about this guy dying. You've heard stories about him sort of exploiting around the countryside and whatnot. So that's up to you whether or not you would share that with him. But
maybe I would just say, like, how do you know that he died?
Well, my father told me the stories of his great deeds, and that he died a great Viking warrior, and that he died in honor of a death in combat.
I would hate to dispute something that your father said to you, but the stories that I have heard, none of them are about his death.
I feel like, as much as obviously my family name is important to me, I think that finding this weapon and knowing that my father never in my life mentioned having something this important, as a sword, would be strange. And I wouldn't say I would like the idea of hearing bad things about that, because he's basically my hero at this point.
right.
But I am disturbed and a little bit off about the fact that something's not right.
Right. Give me an insight check.
It was a beat. Okay, there's a roll. 11.
This eight's the best he's going to do.
Yeah, I'll take it. I will take it.
You feel you don't necessarily dispute the sincerity of this Brego chap, but you do just kind of vaguely get the sense that there's more that he could be telling you that he's not sharing. And you wonder if maybe he's kind of holding back for some reason or another, or if it's just kind of like he doesn't feel this is the appropriate time. You're not really sure, but you just kind of feel like...
I think that I would want to know what he has to say, regardless if I like it or not. I mean, I don't have to believe it.
Sure.
But if there's something going on, clearly it's not what I've ever been told. So I would say I probably would be upset about it, hearing if it was something negative. But I would definitely. I think I would want to know.
Okay. Brego's right there. You're talking to Brego. You can make that clear to him.
Yeah. What have you heard?
I'm hesitant to get into it today on your celebration of your father. Maybe after this is done, then we can get a beer and discuss it. But today's about your father.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let me make some plans to talk about it later.
Yeah.
And as the two of you are discussing this and tales of you're kind of reminiscing some stories that your father and maybe other relatives have told you about your grandfather and his great exploits and whatnot. And Brego, you're kind of like, well, yeah, I've heard, he was a great warrior, and, well, I'm not sure, are you sure he's dead? And you kind of like, as the two of you kind of go back and forth a little bit. Left all my dice over here, and that was silly. Brego, you suddenly feel a very... What's your passive perception score? It'll be next to your wisdom, I think, on there.
11.
11? What's your wisdom?
My wisdom is 13, just a +1 to wisdom.
Okay.
I'm more intelligent than wise.
Yes. And probably more charismatic than either.
Yes.
You feel a very gentle disturbance at the money pouch on your belt.
Well, I basically have lived for 14 or 15 years in bars, so I think I would know what's going on.
Yep.
And I'm gonna reach and grab.
Okay.
Hey!
All right. And you find yourself suddenly clutching the arm of. Just give us a description of your character at this point.
My name's Hogak. Ran away from home. Adopted son of Brawl.
Just more or less a physical description. Like his character turns and he sees.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
You're the mysterious one.
So I'm about basically a Viking height, about 6 foot. Not super skinny or slender because I was more on the run as a kid. So not super build or anything. Kind of farmer, run around, do my own thing. Orange hair, that makes a difference for the profile.
Okay.
So, not that sneaky with orange hair.
So as this.
What orange?
Unless you're in the autumn.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can blend
So
it.
you've just kind of quietly moved towards these two. You've got you've got the in the process of getting drunk morning son of a deceased shipwright who or shipbuilder more appropriately this time who looks like he's reasonably well off, and you see this you've seen this bard with this gorgeous loot hanging on his back, reasonably well dressed. Looks like looks like there's probably he could probably do okay without this coin purse, and you've just made the effort to remove it from him. And as you grab and spin, you guys work this out.
So, I grab your wrist and turn and be like, listen, lad. This being in here, this is my world. I've been here all the time. There's easier marks than me. I'm not going to say anything to anybody. We all got to make a living and we have to feed ourselves. I've been in the same position that you're in right now, but don't touch my shit.
As you've caught me, I can't really argue, and I'm going to take that leeway. And
Now, Ulfgar, you are happily into your cups, and all of a sudden, this you've seen this this guy around. You know his name is Hogak. He lives with the local carpenter. You and your family are on. You guys do boats, and he kind of does all kinds of other stuff. So there'd probably be times where you guys might even borrow his services. You don't know this guy terribly well, but you've seen him around the woodworker shop and stuff like that. And just me, but I'm guessing that you. I mean, if it was me, I'd probably be a little pissed off. Like, this is my dad's funeral. I'm celebrating with my people in my home village, and this punk kid that was adopted by the carpenter, and the carpenter's over there. He's a friend of mine, and this punk ass kid is gonna risk spoiling this celebration by trying to pick the pocket. I mean, he just got caught by this guy, but who else is he gonna mess with at the celebration of my father's life?
Yeah, I would quickly get up out of my chair. I'm assuming you said I saw this happen?
Oh yeah, well you would. I mean,
see, like, the disturbance
you two are basically like just you're a couple feet apart talking, and all of a sudden you see Brego kind of like turn and grab, and there's this shocked expression. You're suddenly aware that he's kind of snuck up behind Brego. So yeah, you're very aware of all of this.
Yeah, I'd probably take the sword out and kind of put it up to top of his chest, like right at the base of his neck. And I would say, like, you dare come in here and to steal from my patrons during the celebration of my father's death. He's like, I'd say, I'd probably go like, let me answer the phone first, and then I'm going to come back and deal with you.
Apparently not. You're getting off easy there. We'll get ahead of this a little bit. So anyway, you can. Now's a good time for you to say a few things about your character.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for
Well, it's not like you were introducing yourself as you stole out of my pocket, right?
Well, I could. You already established I'm getting busted. I'm clearly not that good.
Anyway, don't worry. He was just a telemarketer. You're lucky. All right. Yeah, I'd take my sword out and I'd put it up to him and say, the only reason you are even alive is because of what your father's done for my family.
So, you've overheard some of the conversation here. You know, they've kind of been talking about. You probably have not heard anything about Ulfgar's grandfather, but in your years of wandering the wilderness prior to being adopted by the carpenter, you've heard stories of a wise woman who lives somewhere out in the wilderness. You've never encountered her, but as you would kind of make your way from time to time into different little villages, every once in a while you would hear a tale of somebody who was going to see her or someone being suggested that they go and see her. You've never quite gotten a name. You've just heard her referred to as a Volva, or Cirrus, basically. You don't know exactly where she is, but you think that maybe offering a seed of, I think maybe that this woman, whether she could help solve this or not, you think that it could be a good distraction to get you out of this.
So I'm borderline lying, gotcha.
Not quite, but it's, how much you lie about it is up to you, but it's kind of like, head fake, distraction over here.
Squirrel.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, my guy just trying to get out of what's going on and trying to dodge out of this scenario is, sorry, it's a bit of a misunderstanding, but, I overheard what you guys were talking about. And I heard the CRS a few villages back when I was on the run through the villages and that, and just kind of going around from village to village and making my ends meet and that. She's collected stories of all over the generations of her ancestors, so she might be able to clear up what you guys are discussing between your grandfather.
I think I would kind of have you kind of pushed up into a corner with the sword, and I'd call out for you said you had adopted father, basically.
So the carpenter's name is Tresk.
I would call out, and I would call out Tresk. I would say your son has dishonored my father's memory, and in such owes my family a debt of honor. He is about to pay it for me.
So Tresk comes over, and as he does, you in particular note his son, who's kind of been most of the time I'd say probably a fairly friendly rival of yours. You've spent the last couple of years more or less under the same roof, both sort of competing at work, competing at times perhaps a little bit for his father's affections, that sort of thing. But you see Tresk with his son Sialu coming up, and Sialu kind of glares at you like, "Yeah, you got in trouble." Looks like he's a bit pleased with the fact that you kind of got caught with your hand in it. But Tresk kind of he looks at you, Ulfgar, and he kind of chuckles and he says, "The boy, yes, this one is trouble with this one. It follows him around quite readily. We are brothers, your father and I. You are like a son of mine. If this one has wronged you," and he kind of gives you a little playful cuff up the back of the head. If this one has done something to get himself in trouble with you, he's yours. You take him until the debt is paid.
I'd take the sword off, and I would kind of nod at Tresk in acknowledgement, and then I would tell you to go and eat and drink and celebrate, and don't get caught again.
I say, and as Tresk does this, he kind of like calls for some mead to be brought over and hands you a cup, and the two of you sort of toast to your father's memory. And all right, you guys. So after this, you guys tell me where. Well, you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit because we kind of. The phone rang. You laughed. We were going to introduce, and then it was a telemarketer, so you were back faster than anticipated. So,
what do I? My character's Hogak. I'm a rogue. Left the original parents because the father he went on one raid and just kind of I did my thing. Just went back and became a farmer, and that didn't really entice me. I wanted a bit more in life, so I took off and just kind of lived off the land. Went from village to village, doing what I could. End up settling down where I am with Tresk, and got my hand caught in a good jar.
That's what happened when you're
right.
When you're level 1.
All right. So as this all sort of comes to an end, do you guys tell me what you're doing? You know,
obviously, for the rest of the night, I'm going to do what I was hired to do. I'm going to sing some songs and do some poetry or whatever, and drink with the locals and just get to know people.
Right.
And I'm sure at this inn I'm welcome to stay, as I am at most inns that I go to.
You're pretty welcome. So, the inn is called Celebration, and Ulfar and Hogak, you two know that there's kind of a running joke where husbands in particular, but occasionally others will just get completely, they'll get a little further into their cups than they need to, and they'll come home and while being chastised by their whoever, whether it's a wife, mother, father, whatever, have you been drinking? Yes, but only in celebration with my friends. And you know that it's kept by Humle and Mied, a husband and wife. They've got a couple of, there's a number of other individuals who work there as cooks and servers and things like that. But it's the only inn in town. But as you've come in, they're quite happy to give you free room and board in the inn for as long as you're willing to hang around and perform on a regular basis. And there's a few people. It seems there's a few locals who kind of, they'll play a simple instrument or they'll get up and they'll sing once in a while. But there's not really any proper entertainers in town, so it's a pretty big deal for them to have somebody come through. So. Humle has extended the offer to you to stay as long as you want and work for literally to sing for your supper. So yeah, you get up and as you perform through the evening, you have several people who come up to you over the course of the night and basically slip you a coin as thanks for your performances, and by the end of the night, you will make yourself 4 silver and 5 copper pieces.
I think I would probably stay fairly sober. I think I'd probably be in kind of a lot more of a contemplative state about the situation.
You're kind of caught between sort of mourning and celebration, but also sort of extremely thoughtful about. Yeah. And you just kind of you there's something that he's not sharing, and you're wondering what that could be.
And I think I'd probably be playing the politician role as kind of like people showing up for the funeral. Like,
yep, you're glad handing a lot of people.
Yeah, reaffirming kind of old friendships and things like that.
Right.
And kind of tending to that stuff.
You're now the official head of
so I feel like
household, and
it's a bigger weight of responsibility on my character now.
Okay.
To make sure that I manage everything.
Okay.
As well as still have mother, so I'd have to, be cognizant of her grieving and the kids and all that stuff, and kind of more forward looking than getting just drunk.
Your mother is completely wasted at this point. She's off. She's still on her feet. She's a sturdy woman. But
sturdy is what all women like as a compliment. I found that out personally.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never tried that one.
You didn't ever say that, did you?
Hey, you know what?
I really hope
I
not.
tell anyone if you want
Charisma -1.
If you want to impress the woman, if you want to impress the woman, just tell her that she's mighty sturdy.
Tell her how sturdy she is.
You're
Well,
a sturdy one.
Well, you look reliable.
I've known some sturdy looking women in my time, but no, she's off. I mean, this is a small community. Everybody knows everybody, and you find yourself either declining a lot of drinks or kind of like someone hands you a flask or a tankard, and you kind of like. You do a sip, and then you kind of like put it on the bar. You pass it off to somebody else, or drop it on a table and wait for somebody else to drink it.
Yeah.
Your mom, she's not. She's multiple flagons in of ale and mead and beer and wine and whatever else has been. Yeah.
She's gonna regret it.
She will probably regret it in the morning, but for tonight. She's definitely just enjoying the celebration with her friends and kind of forgetting her grief for tonight at least. You?
After being caught, my head's just kind of being hung low, and I'm borderline drinking and getting into it with my brother as he's rubbing my nose into it.
Okay. Now,
You're my real father.
you're my real dad.
Hello. I mean, you could be my real father.
As the night goes on, at some point, I think I would. Sorry, not to remind me of character's name. Yes, we'll take a couple.
Hogak.
Hogak. I'll go over to Hogak as the night and just put my hand on his shoulder and just say, it wasn't awful, but it was a little sloppy. And just
You can do better.
Yeah. And just continue, just quietly say that to him, and then just continue on.
Right. All right.
The veteran bar goer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you kind of wander around. Again, there's the majority of people are clustered inside. Outside the ship, it's going to take a while for this thing. You probably helped build this boat for your father to get.
It's sturdy.
So it's burning
just
for
like
a while,
the built it.
and it's not. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that Black Mane family, they like sturdy things. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always nailing sturdy things.
That's right. Dad wanted something that he could ride, knowing it wasn't going to give up on him until he was done with it.
Yeah. Right to the end.
That's right.
No bubble on that boat.
That's right. When it's when those boats get rocking, you don't want things falling apart or anything like that. There's also there's a couple of bonfires out close, and the boat's not moving very fast. Like there's not like a fast river. This is a massive fjord. So basically, you expect that until the tides begin to shift towards the end of the night, early morning, you expect this boat is just going to kind of slowly meander with the wind a little bit. But there's not really much of a current out in front right now to move the boat. So there's bonfires outside that people are gathered around as well, and they've somebody brings out logs or whatever to sit on. So like this is a big thing. There's not a lot of regular, you kind of have like your harvest celebrations or whatever, but there's not really much for regular cultural events in town. So this is a big deal.
As the shipbuilder's probably a big deal, right?
Well, I was just going to say that actually, like, and your father being like the shipbuilder, yeah, like it's not just he's a fairly well-to-do Carl. He's a landowner. He's got servants. He's got a family. He's got.
Carl?
Why do you
There's
build
Carl and his
ships,
dirty wife.
Carl?
Be Lenny instead if you want. But you find yourself wandering in and out a fair bit, and as the night goes on, you kind of you're glad handing people inside. You'd recite some poetry. People would stop and listen and kind of thump the table at the end, and then you'd kind of switch it up a little bit and sing something that's maybe got a little bit more. There's some carousing going on here. As the night gets late, you wander outside and you're not sure, but it seems to you like just sort of in the back of your mind you feel like you can hear something that reminds you of the times when you, at times terrified, survived in the wilderness by yourself. And you kind of wander, not super far away, but just kind of like a few dozen feet away from the crowd, so you can kind of hear things a bit more clearly. And it sounds to you as though there's wolves baying, and that's not entirely unusual, but it seems odd to you that with all of the noise going on in Smabiel, that it sounds like they're drawing closer.
So yeah, I'm just gonna wander along, staying close to the hut, stay in the shadows. That way, if anything does come out, just the fear of anything from like the past that used to frighten me there, I'm gonna stay where I can duck into a hut or somewhere where I can just duck down and hide.
So you're just kind of like going building to building,
Yeah,
kind of.
building.
Give me a stealth check as you're making your way along. Should be next to your dex.
That's 5.
So you'll roll a d20 and then add whatever that is to it. 20. Nice.
Keep that up.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone might as well roll 20s.
This
It
is
won't be me.
This is gonna be my good night. Next week, I'm gonna make you proud of it.
So you kind of make your way. I'm going to try to have some images for you guys to work with next week. Those listening, all you guys are getting is audio, but those of you who are actually here, I'm going to try to get some more visual aids to kind of help with the sense of thing. But basically,
It's big imagination.
basically you're looking at not very far from the shore. Like the whole town is kind of built into this. You got maybe say 1.5 kilometers between basically like steep rock embankments, or not quite stone embankments, but very steep hills, effectively carved out of like solid rock with just like a little bit of like underbrush and some grass. There's not as the boat builder that you guys do not get your logs. Like you do not find a lot of suitable timber on the slope that comes towards Smabiel. You can go around in other places to harvest your wood. This is kind of where you bring it to build it.
Wood in this city.
No, well, not.
Mom's got to go a long way before she drags a tree home.
But so it's not a very long stretch. Like the land kind of just goes like this, and right in that part at the bottom is where the town is. So it doesn't take you very long to come to the edge of the town, and you give me a perception check as well. That should be next to your wisdom. 8. You hear a lot of.
All right, you get a bonus.
That's what the
Oh, that okay.
Yeah. So you hear what sounds like a lot of wolves. You have a hard time pinpointing exactly where they are, and it's one of those weird things where like the moment you try to kind of listen carefully, it sounds like some drunk idiot yells something out and kind of like throws off your perceptions a little bit. But it does sound to you that there's a lot of wolves, and you know from your time in the wilderness that this is weird because this is kind of like early spring, probably we'll say mid-springish, the snows are well gone. Things are growing fairly well. Everything's pretty green at this point, but you're still a little ways from like the high heat of the summer. But you know that it's kind of weird for a large number of wolves to come, or any number of wolves really, to come close to a human settlement, especially when there's this much fire and noise going on at night. So I think it's kind of a little bit odd.
Well, taking that into consideration, I'm going to go back, tell the family what's going on, make my way over with Mr. Sword to the throat here, let them know, that I'm hearing a bunch of wolves outside, and I'm not certain, but I think they might be coming closer. I'm doing this partially to try and get into good graces to cut back on whatever I might have to owe you in the future.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't deal with it personally. I probably would see if I have a couple of people.
You look around, and what you see is that they're... I mean, you intentionally don't look for the mayor. You know that the mayor is kind of the highest ranking individual in Smabiel, but he's not somebody that your family has typically looked upon as overly capable or brave.
Like all politicians.
He's kind of like the consummate politician. Like he has his uses. He doesn't seem to cause any harm to the town or anything like that. But
He does what you're doing. He delegates.
right,
Delegate and disappear.
but you look around.
Ease of leadership.
You look around, and there's not really any official town guards. You know that you could probably. You know that if there was a threat, most of the men would, most of the people in general would rise up and pick up whatever weapons they have at hand and would go to fight it.
They're
But
all drunk.
pretty much everybody is pretty far into their cups to varying degrees.
You know what? Maybe I think I'd probably go to Hogak and tell him to take me out. Maybe I'll get some fresh air.
Sure.
Go for a little bit of a walk.
Okay. So, yeah, so you...
I think I'd probably quietly kind of... I don't want to interrupt the celebration over just some wolves. But, going for a little walk would be not a bad idea.
I'm not going to draw anything in. We'll just kind of take, the back of this chair literally as, the steepness of the hill in behind. So, town's kind of all in here. You guys keep talking. I'm just going to kind of draw out some outlines for some buildings roughly while we're sitting here. So do you take him back the same way that you went?
Yeah, I'm just gonna. So I just came out to get some fresh air and started hearing some things. Looking back when I was more on the loam there, and just kind of followed the noise, and this is where I was just picking up the sounds and why I was going up and on.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think probably...
Nothing sneaky.
Yeah. Just have my hand on my coin purse the entire time,
Yeah.
staring at him in the face.
Yeah. I'm going to be taking note of less of the staring in the face and more of the hand on the purse as I'm not getting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, as long as he's in front, you're kind of all right, and then he stops, and you're just oh yeah, there's something going on. Yeah. You can both give me perception checks again if you want.
Sure. There we go. 12.
21.
Perception.
For real, man?
16 and 5 down.
You're going to be that guy?
17.
I went 28,
17.
21.
So you
Yeah, don't worry. It's level 1. It's to be expected to get well above 20.
you right? Yeah, there's nothing important going on right
Yeah.
now. So you both can hear as you listen. There's definitely kind of wolves off to the east, and then you'll hear you hear the echoing sound of wolves to the west, and it's definitely, you pick this up without any hesitation.
Yeah.
This sounds like coordination, kind of circling and drawing in and circling and drawing in. You are less certain of exactly what's going on tactically, but you know it's getting closer, and it doesn't sound like one or two strays. It sounds like...
Try not to metagame, because I've had this happen to me in real life.
Yeah, me too. You're out in the woods. It's October. It's about 6 o'clock at night, and
They're getting awfully close this time.
Right.
And just like in real life, I whip out my grandfather's sword.
Just like in real life, I open up my cooler and throw whatever I have.
Just like in real life,
Get
I
the
reach
bar.
for another beer.
I'm good.
No, I mean like throw him a friggin' pack of hamburgers.
Oh, there you go.
That's
A
what I do.
distraction.
That's right.
Sleight of hand. Hamburgers.
Everybody in the car.
Start the car.
A couple fires out down here in front of the.
That's not a fire.
I'll show you a fire.
I mean, I've got a fire elemental somewhere, but that's probably not going to be friendly.
That's not a knife.
This is a knife. That's a spoon.
See me play knifey spoony before.
Right.
That's a Viking accent, isn't it?
It could be, I suppose.
I've been working on it. I've been working on my Viking accent. Yeah, you bomber clot. Everything's gonna be alright. Pretty sure that's Viking. Pretty sure.
Sounded right on to me,
Absolutely.
If we're going for comedy,
You
that's right on the money.
know the great thing is at Session One and with
I'll keep working on it.
with very little publicity, there's almost certainly no one of Norwegian, Swedish, Finnish, Danish ancestry to be overly offended yet.
That's
If any of you are listening later, we're sorry.
But from what you said, all right, I just saw Matthew McConaughey.
All
There-
right.
There's a movie coming.
Yeah. Alright.
All right, so so you know there's a bunch of wolves getting closer. Well, what do you do?
Honestly, I mean, I'm not terribly concerned, I don't think. I mean, I don't live in the city.
No, well you're
Wolves would
kind
not
of
be- I mean, I would be cognizant of it, but not concerned about it. I mean, it is strange that wolves would be even in a pack like this in the summer for sure, but I don't. It's not crazy. I'm not like calling battle stations or anything yet. I don't think.
okay.
But is there any town guard in the area as we're walking around?
There's no real official town guard. There might at times, if there's a reason, there might be kind of like a rotation where just random villagers are kind of like doing a watch or something like that.
I think just the
but-
rarity of wolves attacking a settlement would probably be like, I wouldn't actually think that's a real thing. Maybe there's a dead animal outside the walls or something and they're just going like crazy, but the thought of them attacking or doing anything harmful wouldn't be something I would be considering.
Fair enough. Oh, there you go.
I might even, maybe I'll take it as some sort of religious sign. That the god of wolves is happy with everything I did. Because I would know what the god of wolves is.
Yes.
I don't know what that guy is, but I'm sure he's happy. He's sending wolves to honor my dead father. Also, if I kill one, I'm making sweet-ass cloaks for everyone.
What direction are they coming from, Dom? Just this way from up here?
Your character doesn't know anything.
I
Yeah.
I'm still inside telling stories and
Yep.
songs.
Yep.
You're
So-
partying up.
Burning it up.
So you would basically look at him and say like I don't think it's anything to worry about, or
I honestly like the chances of me actually thinking wolves would attack a settlement would probably be pretty low.
give me an insight check.
Ooh, I rolled a 19. So
19 is good. If you rolled a 19,
yes.
you know that normally they wouldn't. Something feels weird to you about this. You know that like if there was like a dead squirrel or a raccoon or even like a deer or something like that, it's unlikely that you'd hear this much noise.
Yeah.
Or that it would attract a pack this big. It would be more like you'd have a small group that would find it, tear it apart, or carry it away.
I mean, I don't really feel like I would have anyone else that I would reliably tell Because everyone is either drunk or not combatant.
Your character, I think, would take it as a given that, I mean, you're Vikings, drunk or not. If you need to fight, you fight.
Yeah.
So I think I would take it as a given that your character would not necessarily be overly concerned about whether or not.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I think I probably would kind of hang out in that area and just continue to listen. And I would tell you, go back to the mead hall and gather some of the men. Tell them I sent you.
Okay.
And then meet me back here. And I think I'd kind of have my grandfather's sword out. Just kind of still pondering about what's going on. Kind of quasi paying attention to the wolves. And then wondering about, what Brego was saying. And
as
thinking
you
about that.
As you stand there kind of listening to the wolves and thinking about your grandfather and about Brego, it's not an overly dark night. It's kind of like a fairly overcast. So it's one of those things where like the moonlight actually glints off of the, you kind of like that dull grayness rather than a pitch blackness. And you're kind of like staring at your grandfather's sword and listening, and as you kind of look back to it, the clouds part for a moment, and you see a strange glint on the pommel of the sword that you probably saw it before, but it's kind of, there's some intricate metalworking. It's very, very decorative pommel, and same with the guard. But you see a glint. It doesn't light up the whole thing, but just what looks to you like a rune, like, and to you the runes are basically just like the alphabet. But this is like a symbol that you don't recognize, like it's from a foreign language or something like that.
I'd probably focus in on that.
Yeah. You can give me, I guess, probably history.
I'm rolling all my good ones before I get killed by wolves and shredded. History, I do have history too. 19.
19. You're pretty confident that this is not anything that exists in your language. You're not sure what it is.
You know just enough to know that you know nothing.
It's just like real life.
You know just enough to know that you don't know what this is.
I don't know shit about this. That's all
Great
I know.
roll.
Yep.
Good thing I rolled a 16 on my. There's no possible way you'll ever know.
Well, I didn't say that, but
I think I would just take it in as something that would be strange and that I would probably want to look into. Because clearly there's some meaning to it.
right.
And I think that the fact that I don't know what it means is more strange than the fact that
And it's kind of like you've got all of these sort of lines, Celtic knot type things crossing on the handle and the guard of the sword. And literally, just the way the light hits this, you realize that some of these lines, where they meet, they make this symbol. And for whatever reason, the moonlight striking this lights up just that symbol in all of the rest of this metalworking. So you think this is sort of adding to the mystery of all of this.
Yeah.
What's that?
It says it's time to run.
Yes.
You're only level 1.
Right. And actually, well, I'll come back to you in a minute. So you've headed back to the tavern, and
I immediately split the party.
yes, you don't have a party yet.
Yeah, I don't
the
have
party's
a party.
back. The party's at the tavern.
I don't even have a party, and I've already split it. That's okay.
So yeah, I'm going to go back to the tavern as I was told, and I'm telling everyone I can to go outside and meet up. We're both hearing a bunch of wolves or strange occurrence.
Okay.
So I'm going to make my way over and talk to you and hear if you've heard anything like this happen before.
Oh, what?
You have heard of this happening before. You haven't heard of any communities, like you haven't heard of any large scale assaults by wolves, but you've heard stories as you've been traveling around the fjordic lands of wolves becoming bolder. Things like there'd be 2 shepherds up on a hill watching a flock of sheep or goats or whatever. I suppose if they're watching goats, they're goat herds, not shepherds. But and where normally you'd see a wolf and one would kind of charge at it or scare it off or whatever. And you've heard stories of things like one of two shepherds going down to scare off a wolf, and literally like 2 or 3 wolves coming, like literally ambushing this person and dragging them off in the forest, while the other person's just sort of like, "What the fuck just happened?"
I'm picturing Jurassic Park.
Yeah, pretty much like raptors.
Clever girl.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, you've heard a lot of stories about, and they don't seem centralized anywhere. It's just sort of around this part of the world. Recently, there's a lot of people who've kind of gone missing. Just walking home at night, and somebody doesn't make it. Occasionally, the remains of somebody's dog that they were out with. The dog is found, but the person isn't. So you have heard some pretty messed up things about wolves recently.
All right. Well, I will. You seem to be a little panicky, and you paid me to be there, so I'm going to try to rally the group. I'm going to say, like, listen, men, I have heard that this is an occurrence. There's been some wolves that are a little bit out of control. And I'm just going to embellish. I'm going to be like, I was in a town 2 towns over a month ago, and the wolves were coming in there, and all the men rallied, and they took them out, and they saved it, and they're writing poems about it already. This is your chance to have a battle and to go to be remembered.
You take the opportunity. This being a funeral, and everyone's thinking about like the lands of the dead.
Yes.
And you were like, you pull like a Braveheart. You're like, you can die in your beds, or like, you can seek Valhalla!
Yeah! If the town 2 towns over can do it, we
also,
can do
like,
it.
I want you guys to fight, because I'm a bard. I don't want to get involved.
I don't want to break my lute.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm still getting paid to sing, not to fight wolves.
It's called support for a reason.
Yeah.
All right. As where's your mini?
Mine?
Yes.
I'm gonna light my sword on fire, just like on my mini.
Just like on your mini, except it doesn't actually do that yet. And that's your guy. Actually, you're back.
You can just barely lift that stick at this point.
Yeah, it's also a 2-handed, and I can't even use that.
We'll put a well over here someplace, and we're gonna get rid of this. And
Yeah, if you could leave all those horses there, that would keep the wolves occupied for a while.
right.
Yeah. 7 days you will drown.
That sounds realistic.
Yeah. That's why I build boats, because I hate sailing. If I build boats, other people will sail them.
Makes sense.
And it goes, well, good news, doing bad.
All right. And
never get a bad Yelp review. Nope.
and where's yours? Just so all right. Just gonna put you in here for now. And we'll give you
Look at a sturdy woman carrying those buckets of water.
Yes.
Huh?
right.
She is as reliable as I know.
That's your mom. She's got.
That's actually not buckets of water. That's her drinking.
I was gonna say she's got meat in one and ale in the other. She's like.
It's like it's like the.
That's the only way I got a wife.
Right.
Check out that sturdy one drinking from a bucket. She's a keeper.
We'll get a. Let's see.
They do get expensive though.
Yeah, you drink from buckets. I would imagine so.
That's the downside of sturdiness.
Yeah.
Those
Gotta
buckets
pay
add
for
up
that
over time.
sturdiness.
There we go.
You know
So this is kind of representing the number of people who are still, sober and conscious enough to actually get up and move. And as you are in the process of inspiring,
I'll just rely on sturdy hay if they're down there.
My mom just starts crushing things with buckets. Turns out she was a well-known shield maiden.
She keeps them away with gas.
you, Ulfgar, what's your passive perception?
mine?
Yes.
That's a good question.
I thought so.
Passive perception of 15.
Passive perception of 15. In the dim light, you see a wolf break free of the you see him show up. You don't really see him break free of anything. You just suddenly, you hear the snarl. You see like the baleful eyes glittering in the dark, and you see a wolf as basically as its shape kind of comes free of one of the buildings,
I'd probably... Oh, well, I would take out... Obviously, I have my sword out already, but I'd pull out my hand axe in the offhand.
You can roll initiative for me.
17.
All right.
Whoa!
I know this is not working out for me at all.
It is right.
I'm just gonna put this here, put that there instead. Thank
This
you,
is what
sir.
happens when the DM drinks too much, huh?
Yes.
Too much.
It's just water so far, really.
We're celebrating. You're not.
Right. All right. So, you kind of already having sword in hand because you've been looking at your grandfather's sword. Sorry. Your attention is drawn to this, and it is your turn.
We just trading the greatest 5 feet.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? How many hand axes do I have? Just one. Oh, I have 2 hand axes.
You are, as you see this thing though, you are holding your grandfather's sword.
So I can't reach to it there. You know what? I can make that 30 feet. I'm gonna draw my hand axe in my offhand.
Sure.
And I'm assuming I'm gonna let it come to me. I'm gonna take a dodge action.
Okay. Are you gonna dodge, or do you want to like just stop where you are and wait for it to?
Yeah,
get to
like
you?
I mean, I'm gonna walk my 30 feet, kind of like getting into that mindset of battle, and I'm gonna draw my axe in my other hand, and I'm going to
just sort of
sit
hold.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're more holding your action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll hold my.
You're
action.
basically
Yeah.
preparing to attack it when
Yes,
it gets to
yes.
you. All right. Fair enough.
Holding my action.
Rather than like running all out and having it
God, I
get the
haven't
jump
played
on.
the game in so long.
First time in like
Bravest
7 months. So.
Bravest shipbuilder ever.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're all brave in our own ways.
Well, you had some
I'm brave,
and your dad
stunned.
died, so it's like
Right.
you're looking for a fight.
Yeah. Actually, I've recently changed my gender, so yeah, I'm quite brave actually. I'm like,
Okay, Caitlin.
All right. So you
Political turn.
yeah.
right. He comes leaping and snarling at you. He is obviously within your reach.
No! I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna use my lucky feat that you gave me before the game.
I don't remember giving you that.
Yeah, I rolled a natural 1, so I'm gonna roll again with my offhand, and I'm gonna roll a 4. So basically, I'm just going to just take this wolf on.
Yeah.
I'm just doing one of these, like in the beginning of every good karate fight, you make a lot of hand actions, and then you get into the
Tried
fight.
to blind him with the moonlight reflection off the axe.
Yeah. I was like, grandfather, empower my weapon, and then dead.
I'm definitely going to get some fun things for critical fails later.
Yeah.
For now,
Please
we're
don't.
going to keep it simple. So
You died.
I rolled really good in the start of combat, first roll.
so Corey,
Yeah.
I'm going to let you
You
pick
guys think
2
I'm
things.
Wrong, but I'm
Yeah.
High or
Oh, I don't
low,
think you're lying.
and
Yeah.
in his
Excited
favor
for it.
or
Yeah.
against it,
Excited
either
for my
in
new
his favor
character.
or against it.
Because it seems to be your thing, low and in your
Low and in his favor.
Yeah.
All right, we'll roll this one publicly, and that is high.
Not enough.
As you come across at this wolf, you just totally miss sort of its movement. Like you try to kind of lead into it,
Welcome to level 1, bitches.
and your grandfather's sword is now about 10 feet away from you, somewhere on the ground in the dark.
Okay. Do I hit with a 10?
You will not hit with the 10.
Okay, well then I miss with my offhand too.
Yes, you will. All right, and the
You fight like a shipbuilder.
I fight. Grab me the 3/16 hand axe.
and as I roll this, what's your armor class?
My armor class, 16.
16, and we've got a.
Just like how many seconds I'm gonna live in this fight.
All right, the wolf bites at you, and you're wearing
Chainmail.
ringmail.
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 Sure, whatever you say.
I think we'd said ringmail before, right? We'd had this conversation.
We
But
had
I'm not
this
sure if we were-
conversation briefly, but never actually decided on if I was switching my armor. So
Yeah, we'll say it's ringmail, but we'll say you're still fine on this roll. So
I mean, I would celebrate definitely fully armored,
yeah, totally. I mean,
ready for wolf fights.
yeah, everybody I know goes to the bar in like full plate mail,
You know, and
Kevlar.
honestly, if I owned a full set of plate mail, I probably would go to the bar in it. But I mean,
But how much of it would you come out of the bar with?
none. Absolutely none.
Realistically, I kind of want to do that bar night now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that walk in though, you just just look at me.
I
Just go up to the bar and take your hand.
I
in
can
the big
only
and knock
imagine that
everyone's
taking
drinks
off your mail at the end of the day is like taking off your work boots. It's like the first thing, the minute that you can do it is like, I'm
The
taking
greatest
this
thing on
shit
life. Yeah.
off. I feel like I could
Probably
fly.
smells like a dead
I feel like I
animal.
could fly now.
Yeah, so it's a good thing I lit my sword on fire before I attacked.
That was a very good idea. Yes.
And then threw it.
And then threw it at burned down a building. Oh good, they're seeing this now.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna say he's got room to get in there and attack you as well. He was off map; you couldn't see him because of underbrush and stuff like that. And we're gonna another one
underbrush.
up here. I know these don't actually look like wolves for all intents and purposes. They're going to count as wolves for right now. Okay.
Clearly, Don, that is some sort of a feline NPC.
Then he obviously identifies a wolf.
Oh my god.
Yes, and
Brave and stunning.
that's all.
And sturdy.
And sturdy.
That's their ability. It's called Brave and Stunning because they identify as wolves.
Yes. Actually, put that one over
Not
here.
that one. That one's just a
Here.
Oh, that's definitely a pig.
All right.
But you put enough lipstick on it.
Yeah.
And
I've seen a few of those hanging around the outside of the
it is your turn again, sir.
My turn again?
Yes.
Well, it has to be. You're the only one engaged.
We're
Okay,
we're,
well,
we're,
let's-
we're going to come to everybody else in a moment here.
12.
And-
So that is an 18.
And you're attacking the same one again?
Yep.
Okay.
With your fist.
Oh, I don't have my sword, do I?
Your sword is
How
gone.
far away is it? Like, obviously, I can't.
It's you
You know what? I'm gonna pull out my second hand axe because I carry two hand axes.
That's what I figured you'd do. Yeah.
So I'll take a hand axe swing and I'll take an offhand swing at it as well for another 16.
All right. You roll damage on the first one.
Yeah. And 1d6 plus 4. So the first one is a 10 damage.
10
The
damage.
second one is a 10 damage.
Woo!
Nice.
Yeah, that's just me, boys. Level 1, 20 damage turn.
You plant both. Actually, let me grab some.
See what happens when I use something
Have
that
you
I
ever heard a
carry.
wolf laugh?
That's terrifying. If I did, I would pee.
Just lay down like, yep.
Stop spoiling plot hooks for later, okay?
I want to do non-lethal
This is
damage.
the
So
guy
I
that
can
ate
question
Little
the
Red
wolves
Riding Hood
later
last
on.
week.
So
Like,
I'm
he
just
doesn't
going
give
to
a
use
shit.
this to represent a corpse for now.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. Why
And then
not?
I will, I can't disengage from this wolf to get my thing, so I'll just take it on. I'll just turn towards the other wolf, and that'll be my turn.
Sure. Okay. Well, we'll have that wolf attack you. And that's going to be a 19, which I'm pretty sure is going to hit you.
Oh, unfortunately.
And he's going to hit you for, I just closed it here, 5 points.
Alrighty.
5 points of damage.
Shots fired. First damage of the game.
I just killed this bitch. Now I'm taking on his. Whoops. That didn't work at all.
Now, the tragic thing you might not
You
like,
said 5 damage?
5 damage.
Okay.
Wolves have this great thing called pack tactics.
Yeah, it's terrible. I
It's-
use it on higher level monsters all the time because it's terrible.
So the one that you're not even aware of behind you is going to hit you for 8 points of damage.
Guys,
That's all the damage.
that's all the damage.
And I'm assuming that at that point you are.
Good playing with you guys. Appreciate you coming up.
It's gonna be really awkward playing at Richard's house now that he can't play.
I guess I'll just watch.
So
I am has 0 points.
I would like if I can get you two guys to both
Can I at
roll.
least scream like a girl before I go down?
I figure you would be yelling through all of this, like you're not like you know,
Yeah.
you get some good
Something
some good
that
battle
lets
yells.
everybody know I'm about to die.
Yes, and fortunately I run around as concurrent, not as oh no you died before so no one knows.
Thanks. Wow. I'll eat them while I'm dead.
Right? You got nothing else to do.
Enjoy the game, boys.
Other than maybe rolling a death save on the next round. So you guys can both roll initiative for me, please.
19.
12.
So was that?
12.
12. Okay. So 19 is going to put you way up here. And 12 is going to put you still before me. And you know what? We're going to retcon this just a little bit. These guys would hear some yelling, so...
I'm just going to turn to you in fear to say sing louder.
I'll be right back.
And as you've been inspiring everybody inside their Brego, you know what I didn't write? What I didn't draw in here is a door. We'll put a big double door right there.
It's sturdy too.
It's a very sturdy door. Yes.
That door.
There's lots of sturdy openings to be found in this town if you know where to find them. We'll say that you're still there. Actually, let's get rid of her because she does not look like the sort who's going to rise up to fight. He does, though.
I would not want to get into a fight with a woman that used to carry water for 4 hours a day. She's back and forth.
She can say whatever she wants.
I think you see those like the pictures of the Indian women that have like so much shit on there, like just like
Yeah.
I would not want to get into a dark alley and piss off that woman.
I do it.
She literally does way more than I ever have.
Yeah.
All right. So, Brego, it is your turn.
Okay.
You've heard some yelling, and you've heard some other. As some of these guys are outside and that have made their way outside, they've heard something. You hear commotion. You see people kind of funneling off towards the right.
So I'm just going to continue to kind of like say like, Ulfar needs us. I just want to inspire the group, like try to get everybody up and going and like just energize everyone. But I will go out the door. The door's open, right?
Yeah.
The door is open. Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my 30 feet.
You can dash as well if you want to get further.
Yeah. Well, I don't really want to be ahead of the group.
Charge!
Fair enough.
Sing your praises right to the
And they need to hear me. I'm inspiring them. They need to hear me.
Yes.
from the back. It's easier to hear from the back of the line.
That's right. Yeah, wow. You know what? I will dash this time. And I'll be like, come on, let's go. Ulfar needs us.
Nice.
You hear me scream, oh my ass!
Um,
Pig wolf.
Ulfar, actually, it can wait until you get back. I just need a death save from you.
Oh, just a death save.
Just a death save at the moment.
I mean, I've only been playing for 15 minutes, and boom, I failed my first death save.
Nice. What was it?
7.
Okay. It looked kind of like a 1, so I'm like, ooh, that's rough. Like, crit failed, 2 death saves down already. That's unfortunate. It'll turn out you've got a mysteriously long lost twin brother.
Yes.
Who, having heard of the death of your father, shows up the next morning.
Yeah.
Picks up the sword and now determined to avenge his brother.
I've
all the same attributes.
I've traveled the entire world to meet my long lost brother who died last night. Shit.
Damn it! I told you we shouldn't have stopped for snacks. For snacks and dwenches. All right, fair enough. All right, Hogak, it is your turn. And you dashed to get there.
Yes.
In the light, you can just barely make out the form of something going on behind this building. That would be for both of you and the guys up ahead of they'd be shouting and kind of pointing and let's see.
They tell tales of the man who died at his father's funeral as the greatest warrior ever to live.
But he died so quick and easily. We're all
died in literally one round.
Literally, we go there, we find him, he's all chewed up, and it's like, nobody touch that sword. Fuck, there's something with that.
Say, I'm still getting fucking paid for this job, alright? You hear me? You guys aren't getting off the hook because the main guy died.
I get paid in advance.
I was gonna say Brego took coin up front because he's that
because
kind.
You've been to a few of these and you know how they turn out.
He's that kind of a
If
bard.
there's only one death per funeral, it's not that
There's
great
like
of a
an
funeral.
80% chance I won't want to talk to you in the morning, so you pay ahead.
Again, if it doesn't look like a wolf, use your imagination.
Wow, that was close. Jesus, that's way worse.
Oh, do you want a werewolf? Just in case he bites me while I'm unconscious and I fail my con save?
And this one was already on there, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 10, 20, 30, 40. I'll put these guys up a little bit first. This is what I was seeing a lot of people doing dishes yesterday.
I love how we
You shouldn't
potentially...
listen to it all the time, Don. It's probably not good for your mental health.
I like how we had 3 pre-games to get all this stuff sorted out and I potentially die in the first 20 minutes of the game. We spend more time building my character than playing it.
So,
But for those 20 minutes,
gonna
were
be
you not
fine.
alive?
Yes, I was alive.
The fun is building the
I
character.
lived. I lived the dream. My soul was on fire. No, great. Now the spiders are coming.
now the spiders are coming. Now I need to pull up.
Not bad.
My mom is going to save me with a bucket. That's how this thing goes down.
Right.
You always wear the bitch of the family. As my mom comes in and just crushes wolf skulls with buckets of ale.
Your mom is
I wanna
badass.
see my
Unfortunately,
mom-
she's passed out right
I
now.
want to see my mom pick a wolf up with one hand and choke it to death. Like it's struggling
Being
trying
passed
to
out never stopped my mom from hitting people.
Well, we're getting into deep counseling session right now.
I've,
Talk to someone about that.
I told you D&D is therapeutic.
Do you need a hug?
All right. That's what we're going to use. All right. So, this guy is going to step up to this wolf, and I'm just going to roll one of these. And that's going to hit a wolf for sure. Let's do that. He's going to hit for 6.
Thank God I sent you back to get help.
Yeah.
Where'd he go?
Too little, too
Oh.
late.
Right.
Where's everyone in town? I don't know. It's like early in the morning, everyone's drunk.
This this is fine. So early in the morning.
Imagine if you weren't so engrossed with looking at your sword and you had to walk back with them. You could still be alive.
Right.
Oh, look, shiny.
This guy's-
How did that left hand feel there?
I can't imagine what people would hit me.
Ooh.
Was that?
That's a
An NPC or
that's an
a
NPC.
wolf?
That's
Oh,
an
good.
NPC. So that's gonna be good.
Don just
for-
fights the battle for us while we just watch.
Right.
I like this.
Yeah.
This one's
When you're done killing the wolves, if you could revive us, that'd be great.
Yeah. Don, do you want to cast heal on my character with one of your NPCs?
No, this was you, right?
Yeah, that's me.
All right.
Can the DM metagame his own combat? I don't know.
Don does.
Yeah.
If only there was a back door in that Evo.
Don's been playing this for 7 months. He's like, I'm gonna build this up. I'm gonna kill everybody the first one and take 7 months off.
Yeah. Yeah. And then no one will say I don't run games anymore.
That's right. Yeah. Kill those motherfuckers. See how many people come.
just
I don't
run
want to play in your game anymore.
Just the smile you said that on your face. That, oh, God, this is true.
I ran a game, but I can't find anyone man enough to survive it.
Right.
Not my fault.
And they will hold as well. All right, and we will go back to Brego.
Brego.
Brego the Destroyer.
Alright. Still making lots of noise, trying to encourage everybody. And I will try to do something fun. So I'm gonna come up to, I don't actually even have to move. I'll just go to here. And I'm gonna do dissonant.
But by the way, as you look down to where you see pointing and you've seen some movement, it looks as though these 3 wolves are trying to pull Ulfgar away.
Oh, I don't like that. Alright. So
Brego, save
You
me. You're my
you
only
previously just saw a couple of wolves. Now you actually see his form basically like prostrate and broken, being pulled away.
alright, dash again.
Did you
Come
say
on, guys!
Did you say prostate?
I said prostrate.
Oh, yeah. It's gonna get really interesting with these wolves here now.
I'm like, pick up the pace! Pick up the pace! Anyways, I
They,
dashed.
they all appear to have moved actually a little bit faster than you thought that they would likely move.
Good. As they should.
Yes.
I'm the fucking bard. That's what I do. I make things happen.
All right, Richard, give me another death save.
Well, good. I passed.
Nice. What was it?
16.
Okay.
Oh, 18 is fast this time.
Oh, okay. Anything under 20, you just automatically die.
Right. Yes. Hogak.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Save me.
Imagine
You're my
Don
only
just-
hope.
Don just secretly hated your character the whole time when you were playing. He's like,
Yeah.
whatever, you
You
do
know what I
whatever you
should
want.
do?
You can do whatever
I'm
you want.
going to be honest. I did not expect one person to be like, "Oh, hey, there's a whole pile of wolves coming." The DM is strongly hinting that this is a larger than normal group of wolves.
The
I'm
DM
going to
was-
stand
it's
by
called
myself.
not metagaming,
Yes,
Don.
it is.
Being a good RPer
I appreciate it.
and dying for it.
I appreciate it.
Which is actually probably what would have happened.
Probably in
Yeah.
real life, I would have been eviscerated by 6 wolves, yes.
Yes.
As I threw the sword into the ground. I'm like, ah, shit. I
did-
forgot how to sword fight.
He did say they came from an area with no trees, so they're probably hungry. Like, there's not a lot of food.
I will say you've got all your regular weapons on you too. So if you've got like a ranged weapon or something like that you wanted to attack with, you could do that.
You're not close enough for that even yet, but come on.
I'm staying behind you.
Oh, you're easily within range
You should
for.
definitely stand behind the bard for protection.
If you've got a short bow or a crossbow or something like
Yeah.
that, you'd definitely be within range.
My
But
loot could probably take a hit.
Shoot around the corner.
You should smash some beer bottles and tape them to your hands and go like Liam Neeson in this bitch.
In the gray.
Yep. Most realistic encounter.
spurred on by the words of the bard,
Yeah.
you can move an extra 5 feet as part of regular movement.
Because I need all the help I can get.
There.
Thank God I sent you back to get help.
Right. And am I within range range was the crossbow?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
crossbow's like 80 feet or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and make it. So, crossbow. And then if I can get the wolves away, I can loot from you as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I
You get a
got
sweet
it.
sword if you kill me.
Yeah. I know.
You'll just immediately steal my coin purse that I kept putting my hand on. You're like, got it in the end.
She's
asshole."
like, I saved you, buddy. Yoink.
You know that debt you said I owed you? Not anymore.
He shoots.
14.
Plus whatever your attack modifier is. So
Nope,
where
it
you've
is.
got your so your
Wolves got
short bow.
25
So
armor?
you get a +5 to attack. So your 14 turns into a 19, and you're going to attack for one. It's going to hit for 1d6 plus your dex modifier. So 3. What's your dexterity modifier? It's literally whatever you've got. +3. Okay. So
Like how I
which
started
one were
every
you
time
aiming
I
at?
hit wins, and then it was like-
Which one were you aiming at? The gray one?
Yeah, the one there.
Gray one.
It's the closest that I'd be visible to see.
Sure. And as you hit it, it gives a yelp and lets go. Stops trying to drag Ulfgar.
Not done my job.
So he's kind
By
of.
the way, it's just Ulfar. There's no G in my name, Don.
Oh, is it Ulfar?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Frig. I don't
Oh,
even know what you're talking
we're
about.
thinking
half the
about your
time.
new character.
Yeah. You're already planning my next character for me. Ulfgar the maimed.
Right now he's the lame. And yeah, I guess that's
Now
that's
he's
your
Kimball.
that's your turn at the moment.
Yeah.
All right.
Eaten by a dog? I mean, sure, that's a good Viking ballad, I suppose.
And just as it ends, his grandfather shows up and is like, "Wow,
Yeah.
I'm sorry I even came home."
Gets diluted every generation. At least your father could build a boat.
Ouch.
Are you okay? You seem like you might be a little
Oh, yeah,
upset.
this one.
Yeah,
Let's
this is an
see.
intervention, guys.
This is
3. That's a
real.
12 will hit. For 2.
Built a bow and arrow with my daughter last night.
Nice.
Shot it once, and then she's like, I'm done. And I'm like,
That
"Hey,
one's
2 hours to
going
build
to
this
miss.
And then-
He's
Yep. Cool. See you later, Dad. I'm going to watch cartoons.
I'll have this guy
Yeah.
continue fighting, I suppose.
Yeah, it'd be 2 hours, a little bit.
6 will miss. I'll have
She
the
looks
guy in
frustrated
front
with
of
the fact that she
the
can't
boar.
immediately pick something up.
That's a critical fail.
Oh,
And
She's like, she's 5, right? So, yeah. She doesn't have the patience to learn that kind of stuff. Trying to teach her how to hold the arrow so that, because she just grabs the string with her fist and pulls it and then lets go, but it's like the string runs her fingers and the arrow falls off and has like
How old is she?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I beat her for a while until she. But,
it's the only way they learn.
it's the only way they learn.
That's one of the best uses for a bow.
Take the string off and turn her back. Well, if I can't teach how to shoot, I'll teach how to take a beat.
Especially like bows for like kids, right? Because they're really supple, so you can really get a good whip in with them. I mean, you don't want like a big war bow because it's so inflexible when it hits,
Yeah.
right?
When she gets to high school and somebody throws her with a towel, she'll laugh in their face.
Right.
I'm getting scared of shit than you.
Yeah.
I think that's only boys that do that, though.
My dad's
I've never
so
heard of girls
mysterious.
whipping each other with a towel. That's just a boy locker room thing.
Yeah, that's just what you were in the boys' locker room wishing girls in their locker room.
Yeah.
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 The Elder stirs my wrestling face. You think the girls are doing
Nope.
Don't shake your head at
You
me.
think
No,
Don't shake your
I've
head at
heard
me.
You think it was
stories.
awkward for you? The rest of the guys just wore shorts. Wish you wore shorts, yeah.
No, they wish I
That
wore something.
fucking Corey, that's weird.
No, they wish I wore something else other than the singlet all the time. Do it as practice, like regular clothes are okay. You don't need spandex right now.
And that is a lot of Vaseline.
Train like you fight. Yeah. Yeah. Damn it, Corey, it's the last time I tell you, stop greasing yourself before every
So
wrestling match.
this one's going to run at you, but in the process of doing so, he's going to provoke an attack of opportunity and get hit for.
Stop
4.
whispering sweet nothings in my ear. worst that I've actually done that. Nothing throws you off your game.
When your teammate pulls you in for a clinch and says, "You smell really good today."
Yeah, you smell different when you're awake. That really throws a dude off his fight. Like, you can't fight a person after someone says that.
Yeah, that or he stops wrestling and just starts fucking going nuts on you.
Yeah, it's going to turn out in one way. You're going to get knocked out or you're going to win the fight. Like, the fight's ending either way.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've got these guys. They won't get an attack, but they're right there.
So many wolves, John. It's
Right.
like you forgot we were level 1. Or you knew we were level 1. I can't tell at this point.
I thought there'd be more help.
Yeah, the bard really failed us on only getting everyone in the tavern to die.
Right. All right. Speaking of the
It
Bard,
would be a great reason for you to leave town. With
Yeah, like, remember that funeral?
Everybody died.
I
right?
don't have one staying here anymore.
Brego.
All right.
Now's a great time to do something game changing.
Yeah, you
Game
better pull out that
changing.
level
At level
9
1, yes.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of
stuff. What they say about level 1 bards, they're clutch. I'm pretty sure someone said that once. I really hope that's true.
So, none of these guys have taken a hit yet at all, right?
The gray one's pretty. The gray one's got an arrow sticking out of him, and he's been actually.
I've killed level
This-
5
this-
parties.
this
with
guy
less
has-
wolves than this.
This guy's hit him on the
Wolves
way
are
by.
not, to be
It's
screwed
better
with.
just to hit him.
The pack
Okay.
feat is insane.
So I'm just going to hit him with my hand axe. That one guy right in front of us. It's 8.
Sorry, what was your attack? That was a D6 you rolled, wasn't it?
D6 plus 2 I get for slashing.
Oh, sorry. What was your attack roll though?
Oh, yeah. No.
Plus what?
Never
See,
mind.
that's why he rolls it
What?
opposite.
What's your plus to hit?
What is my plus to hit?
Should be right there. 6 with a dagger and 4
With a hand, 4 with
axe.
hand axe, so.
Okay,
11.
yeah, 11 hits.
11 hits, great,
Yep.
for 8.
Nice. The gray one?
Yeah.
The grey one is dead.
You
We
realize
only
the
have 14 more.
you do realize the only reason I need the only reason for me to put corpse tokens down is so I can reuse these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that music.
Uh-oh.
I've been working on my Viking accent. The wolf is dead.
Yeah, and I guess.
Long live the adventurers. One day I'm gonna get this damn accent down.
So, as a bonus action, I guess I will use, I've never done this before, but I will give you an inspiration dice. So you get an extra 1d6 for 10 minutes, right?
Can you give an inspiration dice on a death save? I inspire you to live. Live, damn it.
I'd give you half of a d6 since you're unconscious. You know, it'd be like just how much of you conscious, how much of you hears what he says.
All of me.
Yeah, so you have a d6 that you can use basically on like an attack roll or a saving throw or an ability check.
You can use it
for the
whenever
next-
you want the next 10 minutes for definitely this whole fight.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yep. And it is your turn.
So, seeing how crossbow doesn't do me much good with a wolf right
Oh,
at my ankle.
sorry. I also forgot. These two are still pulling on him.
They're pulling me off?
They are. That's not what I
Oh
said.
my god. These wolves are not only savages, but they're degenerates too.
Yep.
Cosby wolves.
So you can't.
Pulling
you
me off
you
while
can't
I'm
add it to
unconscious.
damage, right? You just add it to your actual.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, you can roll, and if you think that your attack roll isn't going to hit, you can say, "Hey, I'm going to use my bardic inspiration and roll your d6 and add that to it."
To get the. Gotcha.
I die, I'm gonna steal this token. Play my new character, so I don't have to pay another one.
That's fine.
Yeah, just saying. Just giving you a heads up.
Okay.
I'm gonna use this as my new token.
Polymorph into the town sign.
Right. No one will ever see that coming.
No one ever expects the town sign.
I'd rather be the town sign than the town bicycle.
Especially with all these sturdy women around, eh?
And
Well, that's the thing.
I'll be a town bike.
All those sturdy women, they walk by the town sign, and if there's something they need to say, they nail it on the town sign. So he's getting nailed by everybody.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to use the.
Your crossbow or your short bow,
No, I'm going to switch to
the rapier,
the very Scandinavian.
because it's rapier.
Yeah, the rapier.
You're very very
The
Scandinavian
wolves are dragging
rapier.
me in the woods for a reason, so you better rapier something.
Right.
Before I'm the one
Well,
getting
I was going
rapier.
to join the royals because they were, doing the cosplay thing with you.
Yeah.
Rapier.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to attack?
I'm going to attack the spider wolf in front of me there.
Sure.
Because
The most
I think
dangerous.
it's wolf spider.
wolf spider.
Yeah, it's a wolf spider.
Wolf spider.
I could give you a wolf spider if you want. It's probably far worse to fight than an actual wolf.
No, it's definitely a wolf that is a spider.
So roll your d20 first.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, we already.
Nice.
Oh!
So keep that. Roll that again, or roll another one if you got it.
Smoke them if you got them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So 8 plus 3.
Yeah.
So 14.
This guy looks really casual.
He doesn't even care.
You know what?
He's a sword.
There's no, I don't even need my
He's
sword.
drunker.
You stab it like right through the well. You tell me, what are you aiming for? You see this wolf coming up towards
It's
you. You
cloaca.
casually draw your.
It's cloaca. He kills it.
It's not that kind of a wolf, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, just past Maramis come at me and I just aim for the head and
It's like drive it right through the back of its throat as its maw opens and snaps at you.
it's just there snapping and I leave me alone.
It's like instant dead.
Fuck you, wolf spider.
Look, you and all your.
Anything else on your turn? You could move if you want, but if you move out of range of the other wolf next to you, then he will get an attack of opportunity.
I'm just gonna turn to him.
Okay.
Good luck to you, sir.
Godspeed to you.
Did I have
sir.
you make a death save on this round?
I
Yeah,
don't.
I think so.
I think I did. I think I rolled this. I'm not sure exactly if this did me or if that my last one was the beginning of the round.
You've rolled 2 death saves.
I rolled 2 death.
You rolled 2, yeah.
I have a pass.
You know what? Sure.
Would you like me to roll another one?
No, it's fine. We'll run through one more. So I had townsfolk going first. So that is not going to. Although let's use that.
I'm gonna do.
Not the
I'm
telephone
gonna do
I
the,
inspired.
the howl
That's for
thing
sure.
where I'm like- I thought-
Well,
no,
you
I
didn't
thought
necessarily
wolves were
inspire
never
them
gonna
that
take it down.
way.
Never have I been so wrong
Okay.
in my life. I just gave you the biggest hug ever.
You had me at the hub.
Yeah, he should come over here. That's just the thing to do, but he won't get an attack this turn. Oh, God. Here, 1, 2, that's a miss.
Oh, over there. There's another over here.
Good, that's- That'd be great. Roll a d20 for damage. I'm sure you guys would be offended.
That's not who you're rolling for.
Not easy.
All right. Now it's the wolf's turn.
He sucks.
Well, that's a townsfolk there, right? Wow. You know what?
Down forward, just ripping shit up or what? Or just missing?
No, that was I just rolled double nat with the rolled for one of the wolves.
Like I didn't even pick a sword up. He's just standing there and pointed at the ground.
He's that fucking awesome.
You know enough for a sword.
Yeah. The key to sword fighting is to not hurl
That's
it
the
into
town
the
butcher.
nearest.
He just smells like raw meat. He's like, I'm so fucked.
Yeah.
As soon as he walked out, he was like,
My father always said I would die like this.
Right. And he will go down.
The curse of my family to always be eaten by wild animals.
All right. Brego.
yay.
Brego.
I probably can't get around these guys, eh? Like, how close do I have to be before they will get an attack?
As long as you're not within 5 feet of them. So if you were to go like more than 1 square away from them, they would be attacking.
You can run through there.
6. So that's within 60 feet. So I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers. So
Sounds like an 80s love song.
I am pretty sure it was actually.
right. So they must make a Wisdom saving throw, which is
So you got a
14.
+1. That is 10.
10, so they failed.
Yep.
So they take 9.
Yep.
Takes 9 psychic damage.
Which one?
This one.
Okay.
And then he has to basically run away as far as his movement allows.
With my dead body.
Okay.
Over my dead body.
So he.
Okay.
So that's basically what he does. He runs on his
Oh,
turn, or he runs as part of being hit by the.
So he has to immediately use its reaction if he has.
Okay,
one.
reaction. Okay, that's what I need to know. So he's. I'm going to put him here, but he's run off of the map at this point.
Take a look at this. I actually don't even have the player's handbook. It's like just DM, so I never use it.
All right, and that's your
all I
turn.
can do, yeah.
Richard, give me that sweet death save.
No,
Is that 2 fails?
that's 2 fails
2 fails.
and 1 pass.
Well, you better hope you get a bard or somebody close to you soon.
I actually don't even have like anything good for that.
You can always make a medicine check to kind of stabilize him or
Yeah,
whatever.
but I would deal with the wolf eating me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just bend over and pat the wolf on the head and be like, I'm just gonna save this guy. You got a minute?
Hey, before you drag him off, let me get his wallet.
Can I tell you about my CrossFit routine? The wolf just takes off.
Let me take a moment to tell you about our Lord and Savior Odin.
It's out.
Right. All right, Hogak.
Yes, sir. Wolf hasn't come back in there. Another one's run off. I should try now.
Gotta be a Viking monk next.
Sure.
No, I'm being 100% a strong player.
And
This is what everyone should do 5 minutes into their first session.
Right.
Start planning their second character.
We're like 2 hours in.
and I'm gonna shoot the crossbow at the last one. Alright.
Okay.
6. Okay.
Plus, what's your bonus to hit? +5.
Yeah.
No, so that's 11. 11 hits. Yep, so you can go roll damage.
Okay. 4.
Okay. 4 plus 3, so 7. And that's the one that's attacking him, right?
That's the one still attached to you.
He will likewise yelp and let go and pay attention to you.
No.
No, keep eating him while I shoot you.
Pay attention to the
But by the way, 11 normally wouldn't hit a wolf, but since he's preoccupied with trying to drag somebody, he's not really dodging and bounding about. I mean, it's numbers, so we're metagaming a little bit at that point, but
I feel like we're getting a little bit of help here.
Yeah, the gods have smiled upon us.
Dog.
Well, it's
Hey, I'm not complaining.
it's kind of. What was that? This one.
That was one of your turn tags.
Oh, just falling off there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Odin has smiled upon us.
We can get you an eye patch and some gray hair.
That'd be cool. Wait, did you say some gray hair?
Some more gray hair.
More gray hair. I was gonna say. I'm not sure that
If you don't look like Anthony Hopkins next time you show up, don't even
Show up.
D&D session in your temple upstairs. There's like 2 women, 3 dinosaurs, and 2 sharks.
No, that was me. I got some weird kinks. Don't make fun of that.
Do you use the rubber duck too?
Oh, gross.
Oh.
I have to disinfect all this stuff.
All right. So this is me again. So
And if you don't fix your faucet, you're going to have a major leak. It's going to really piss you off.
I know. Add it to the list of things.
I know. That one will be a huge.
I know.
I can give you a hand.
Okay. It's not that I can't do it. It's just that I haven't. It's like, oh, I gotta fix this.
It's not that I can't do it, it's just-
later I forget.
it's not that I can't do it. It's just that I don't want to.
Yeah. There's a huge difference between
I
can.
prioritize my chores around things that are going to cost me $10,000.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know why it's loose. Probably the kids just pulling on it constantly. Tighten it up. Kids.
Stop.
I said nothing.
I know.
I said
I caught that.
I said nothing.
I heard you smile when.
Mine never got loose.
It's just my mom.
Maybe I just don't.
I know.
Don't try and change me, man.
Never be who you